Welcome back to the DA Wrestling Podcast Network. Hey, Andrew, did you know a YouTuber had his first ever pro wrestling match?
Get out. Who?
Chris Chris Danker, who runs a YouTube channel known as Dank Ops.
Ooh.
I believe he's hit 1 million subscribers.
Oh, good for him.
He's
How'd he take it?
he went against Sean Spears.
Okay. So at least Sean will keep him protected.
Sean helped train him.
Canadian boy then.
Yeah, so he trained at Flatbacks down in Florida with Breeze and Spears.
Oh, nice.
He was supposed to face Adam Cole.
Really?
This match happened last Saturday. It was taped last Saturday,
Okay.
but it was finally available to air on demand tonight. So everyone was talking about it.
Oh, nice. Good
So
for him.
here we are another week.
We are.
We're gonna chat through joining the Judgment Day.
Yes, we are.
Chat a little bit of Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna gear up for Survivor Series next weekend.
Should be an interesting one with War Games.
But first, we got to do a little bit of housekeeping.
Sure.
So, first and foremost, we've noticed that over the 2 months that we've done this now, that whoever listens happens to enjoy the wrestling a lot more than the sports. And in an effort to not burn ourselves out by doing 2 hour plus shows a week, especially Andrew with the video editing.
I know things I'm trying to do on editing too. So
we've decided that we're going to kind of change the format a little bit.
Yeah.
And once, maybe twice a week, we'll see how each other feels. But we're going to do kind of like a longer form, mostly focused on wrestling, but we'll spend the first little bit kind of chatting about this, that, and the other thing.
Yep. Especially big news breaks. That will definitely be on there for sure. Like when Otani signs, we're probably going to jump on for that for sure.
Yeah, well, sports is still a big interest in both our lives, and
it's a massive part of my life.
Absolutely, but we find that through our research, through what we're doing, that the sports audio market is completely oversaturated.
Yeah.
Oversaturated.
And it's hard to get on a lot.
It would be almost an uphill battle the entire time, trying to get a piece of that pie. So, we see through the numbers that you guys like the wrestling, so I think we're just going to stick with the wrestling for now. We're going to rebrand. By the time you guys hear this, I may have already started on that end, because that's my job of this, is to do all the branding and stuff like that. So I'm gonna change the logo up a little bit. We'll probably still keep the black and white, nice and simple.
Maybe have some color.
No, we'll talk about it. But
we'll see. It's a work in progress.
But I'm also excited to announce that for the first time since we started doing this, next Saturday, we are actually going to meet up at Andrew's house, and we're going to live stream a watch along of Survivor Series on our YouTube channel over at DA Sports Podcast. So I really hope to see anybody there, and to be fair, if it's just us, it'll be there for if you want to watch it afterwards, but we'll be live reacting to Survivor Series as it's going on. I mean, I'll probably have a couple drinks. Andrew doesn't drink anymore, but it's okay. It's okay, but it'll be the first time him and I have been at his house in a couple of years.
Pandemic, a lot of pandemic, sick people, it happens.
Yeah, and that's fine, so from now on, we're just going to be mostly wrestling focused. And I mean, you guys will still get, like, if you want to listen to some of the old sports stuff, I mean, it's going to be there. I'm not taking it down by any means, but yeah, as of our last show, which went live at 5:30 this morning, that for right now is our last sports show. Any thoughts, Andrew?
It's probably the best for most worlds right now. It's nothing personal for anything. We enjoy doing the sports a heck of a lot.
Yeah.
I'm doing a ton of stuff here, and we're also it's just a ton of editing that I've been doing. I'm working on an awful lot of stuff, and just trying to find time to make sure we get stuff fast enough to you, especially the YouTube end. Is a bit of a challenge sometimes with my full-time job and his full-time job and what he has with his kids and whatever must go on in my life. It is very difficult at times to actually get a chance to sit down and get the editing done. It gets done, but at the same time too, it's like I'm working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, which is fine, as is Doug, and it's
No,
difficult.
but no. I was just kind of like, the old school, put your hand up for
Oh,
when someone's done talking.
oh, sorry.
No. But I was just gonna add, like, at the end of the day, we're both human beings too. Okay. Like, I mean, I'm a father, 3 kids. I work full time just like anybody else. But there's only so much energy at the gas tank sometimes. Um somebody like me who doesn't sleep that well a lot, my energy level will vary day to day. So sometimes it's even hard to just get on here and get these recorded, let alone Andrew get the editing done.
Yeah, like it's
So
coming
I
around fast to the editing, but it's still a lot of work.
and absolutely, and I think you're doing a fantastic job. Uh, but that all being said, so this is the direction we're going to go for now, and um, I hope everybody's on the comes on the journey with us, and maybe maybe just blending kind of our own personalities and our own personal lives, including talking sports, and blending it into wrestling. Maybe that's the go-to move.
Yeah. Yeah, wait and see what happens, guys. It's a long road. It's a long journey. So
It's
far,
a marathon, not a sprint.
the support so far has been quite overwhelming for us. We're quite surprised at how many of you guys have actually to have downloaded our stuff, and we're quite pleased with that. And we want to bring it up more and more and more for you guys. The best entertainment we could possibly do for you, and our goal here is to become number one.
Well,
And it takes
I mean,
time, but
I,
that's
I
the goal.
right now I'm not even shooting for number one, but I just
Gotta shoot the stars.
I absolutely. I just want this to be successful
Mhm.
in whatever metric that you want to use successful for.
Yeah.
But
It can be
that all
many.
be yeah, that all being said, let's get on
Let's
with
get
it.
on with
So
it.
well, it wasn't huge. Everyone saw it coming, but Drew finally fully turned at the end of Monday Night Raw.
I don't know if that's a full turn. It's a turn. I just know if it's a full turn.
Well, considering Judgment Day has been the lead heels on Raw for over a year now.
Yeah, they're getting cheered a lot though too. It's almost like
But
back to the early
but
'90s.
you know what? I don't even gauge fan reaction like that anymore.
Fair enough.
It's just how are their characters? Okay, how do they perform?
Mhm.
And the Judgment Day, they win by interference. You know,
Well,
they they
what's
cut corners. They they
is
they act like heels.
you
So
see what's
therefore,
well, yeah, but what's funny about that is the New Day acted like heels a lot of times. They still got cheered a lot.
that doesn't matter. MJF has been was a heel up until what, Wembley,
Yeah,
and
still got cheered
he's
and
been getting
booed
cheered. He's
and
been getting
booed.
cheered for, but he's been getting cheered since like last November,
Mm-hmm.
last October.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, because he's just so charismatic. But
He is a funny guy.
anyways, Judgment Day joining, or Drew McIntyre joining the side of Judgment Day. Um, with
Oh,
another UK guy joining.
Yeah,
You got two Irishmen. You got
Australian
you got an Australian. Now you got a Scot guy in
and
there
a Puerto Rican
and a Puerto Rican.
and a Mexican.
No, he's Puerto Rican.
No, Dominic's American Mexican.
Oh, right, right. Well, Dominic's American. Fuck
No,
off.
he's Latin American.
He's dude. He's lived in San Diego. Yes, his dad is Mexican, but
He's Latino.
okay,
Whatever. It's a multi-diversal group.
very. But
Very.
yeah.
I uh I
The only reason
really
I didn't see it coming at the end of Raw is because of how Adam Pierce set the show up at the beginning,
yeah.
where he banned basically everybody from the building,
Mm-hmm. Except for mommy.
except for Mammy.
I love mommy. Not in that weird
She's
way
always
though.
on top, eh? So,
It's hot as shit. But I like that stuff.
uh,
I I I like
all right,
bodybuilding. I
all right,
bodybuild. I like bodybuilding, so I
all
can go
right.
off on mommy.
I'm reeling you in, bud. I'm
Okay.
reeling you in.
I'm just saying.
Don't
I'm
need
saying.
to. Don't need to give. Don't need to give visuals that people don't want.
Just saying. I'm just saying. But though, like it's about high time Drew gets turned back to a heel. It's probably not gonna be like I want this guy a psychopath when he first came back into the
You're
WWE
not. You're not gonna
into
get
onto the
that.
main roster, which is we're not really gonna get that. I hope we get a little bit of tweak on it, like a little bit like different version, I guess, of it. But I do like the fact that Drew is heel or now considered a heel. Be interested to see what happens in that War Games against those guys. Now, considering there's a fifth member now on the Judgment Day for War Games, there have been rumors circulating,
If it's not Randy Orton,
and they're saying Randy Orton right now.
if it's not Randy Orton, then we got to come up with something funny for me to do during that live stream.
So,
I don't know what that thing's gonna be.
I have no idea.
It's
We'll think of something. Got a week to figure it out.
gonna be something stupid.
I don't know,
I don't know.
but
I
like,
have I have a bunch of habanero peppers in my freezer.
ooh, that's a good idea.
Maybe
I
maybe I'll eat one on stream.
maybe that's a good idea actually. But I'll have to bring in a lot of milk. I don't like the word is it's Orton. I mean, it
And you know
would
what?
make sense. I mean, I'll be honest, I just don't see anybody else doing it other than Orton. I just don't.
The only other person that anyone thinks it might be is CM Punk. But
I don't.
they're gonna reveal the fifth member
Monday.
on SmackDown next week.
Okay.
No, or they might reveal it Monday.
Yeah.
But um, but just so that people aren't let down by the fact if it isn't CM Punk. Now,
There's no
I've
way
gone
it's
on record.
Punk.
I've gone on record and say I didn't. I'm so tired of seeing that bitch.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Every
he's really teasing it though.
every other. He's just being a troll at this point.
Yeah, I think
He reads just as much as your average person,
yeah.
and he sees his name out there, and he's just playing troll at this point.
Yeah. I
Okay,
I just don't think I just I don't know. There's no if it's Punk, then bygones be bygones, I guess. But you they're gonna have
do you know how disappointed I'm going to be if he actually shows up at the end of Survivor Series?
well, you're a Chargers fan, so you should be used to disappointment.
Oh,
Just
yo,
saying.
I don't need to go on another rant.
No, but I'm just saying though, you're used to
I
disappointment.
got that.
I'm used to disappointment. I'm a Leaf fan, a Cowboy fan. Just
Yeah, but
saying.
you've seen a couple championships in your life.
I have. Not the Leafs though. Like I hear they've won cups though. Never seen it.
I
I've heard they've
I've
won cups.
seen very grainy footage of it.
I've seen black and white footage.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe slight tints of color here and there. But anyway, moving on through the week. NXT wasn't that exciting there. I do kind of like the direction they're
There
going with Xia Li though, but
is with like the kind of TKO type.
yeah,
She won by ref stoppage
yeah,
against Indy Hartwell, right?
yeah. I do like the way I do like where they're going with this. I don't like the but I liked Xia Li when she came in with the whole mistress thing behind her, whoever that was, and then Boa, or whatever the heck it was. That was kind of cool.
Oh,
But
when they were like being those vignettes where they were like
yes,
being tortured and shit.
yeah, like those and they brought her like
That
that way.
was
That was a couple of years ago at this
that
point
was
now.
weird, dude.
It
That's what
was,
that was.
but the character development was pretty good. And then they brought her to the main roster. They made her like this kind of superhero like
Superhero.
Chun Li thing. Yeah,
Something out of Avatar the Airbender.
yeah, and it's like that just didn't work out. It's almost like Vince had no idea what to do with somebody just because they're from Chinese. You might as well do that. You
Actually,
know?
while we're on the subject of what Vince thinks of foreign people, uh
Oh,
did
you
you
heard that same report?
yeah, did you hear that one Kazuchika Okada has caught the ire of WWE lately?
I have saw that. Um,
What do you what so hypothetically, let's say that happens. Okay. Scale of 1 to 10, how excited would you be for Okada to come into WWE?
that'd be really cool. Like that'd be really interesting to see what because when you think about it, everybody who hasn't really wrestled is basically in the WWE minus Shinsuke,
AJ,
AJ, and
Finn.
Finn. Really, he hasn't
Uh,
wrestled anybody else.
well, no, he's wrestled Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows.
Yeah, but they're not really on the
He's
WWE though.
wrestled Kevin Owens.
Yeah,
He
well,
wrestled Kevin O.
long time ago though. It was Steen, not in
Well,
Japan.
no, it wasn't in Japan. It was in
Oh,
Ring of Honor.
yeah,
Oh, I guess it was probably like 9 years ago at this point.
yeah. Like
But
the Mac, like if Okada comes to WWE, which
mhm.
is a very slim
But I mean, to be
chance,
fair,
it's possible.
to be fair, who's not clamoring for a Okada Shinsuke run back?
Well, that'd be fun.
Who isn't clamoring for, Okada versus Roman Reigns?
Well, I was gonna say that'd be the match
That's one of the
everybody wants to see.
listen, regardless of your feelings of either guy, okay, you're talking about two of the biggest stars of the last 20 years in the world.
Yeah.
This is the biggest match that could happen in the entire wrestling landscape.
Well, when's Okada's contract apparently up?
January.
Okay, so hypothetically speaking, if
He
that
comes
does
in at Royal
happen,
Rumble,
he comes in at Rumble.
wins the
You
Rumble.
you basically push Cody right down the fucking line,
I
or
would
you
have
put Cody towards Seth.
I would immediately
Was that
I would immediately
you?
like
You immediately do
I
Okada
under
versus
I
Reigns.
understand I understand the I understand that there's a couple of guys that have been there. They've earned it, you know.
Absolutely, they have.
And I'm talking Gunther, I'm talking Cody reluctantly. But, because Cody's killed it the last 2 years.
Yeah, since he came back against Seth at WrestleMania, absolutely.
He's killed it the last 2 years.
Yeah,
He put on one of the best Hell in a Cell matches I've ever seen.
yeah.
I don't know what's better, that one or the first one, because those are the two best to me.
Mm.
But
It's a toss up depending on your age and depending on.
but when you have a generational star, the level of Kazuchika Okada, which every wrestling fan, it doesn't matter if it's WWE, it doesn't matter if it's AEW, Ring of Honor, TNA, doesn't matter. Okay. If you've watched wrestling over the last 15 years, at least know of
Yeah.
Okada.
Well, a good example of for people who've never seen Okada. Um, Good example is Forbidden Door in Toronto this year. We were both there. We've mentioned it before. Now, first time I ever
If
seen
I want to
Okada,
show,
first time I ever
if I
saw
want,
Okada live,
yeah,
first time, and now
the aura
I
of that dude.
yeah, I don't know how many times he's been to Toronto, but if it was his first time, everyone there erupted when Okada came out. That's how that's how he crosses the stream. Like
Oh,
everyone knew who he was, whether you
but you
saw him
also have
before
to
or not.
understand the AEW audience too.
Yeah,
The AEW audience is a bunch of smart marks who've been watching Japanese wrestling for, you know,
yeah,
at least since probably AJ was there,
yeah.
right? Because I think that was a big turning point for New Japan as well,
Mm-hmm.
was AJ coming in. That was a bigger shot in the arm for New Japan than you think, because like that's sort of what led to the first English broadcast of Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Yeah, because AJ was at the time was the biggest crossover to come over to Japan, right?
He was the biggest free agent on the planet.
Yeah,
And
and he came to WWE.
no, it's
Oh,
funny
sorry,
because
sorry, he came to WWE after New Japan. My apologies.
right. So it's weird because I remember listening to an interview with AJ Styles when his deal was up in 2014. He did an interview with Live Audio Wrestling,
Yep.
who parts of it is now known as Post Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So he did an interview with them, and one of the hosts asked him if he had heard anything about WWE, and he said that he hasn't heard anything and assumes they're not interested.
Yep.
Fast forward a couple months, and he's in New Japan, which literally starts the best 2-year run I've seen of almost any wrestler on planet Earth.
He didn't correct me. You can correct me if I'm wrong, because I probably am.
Okay.
Didn't Styles beat Brock for the NWGP title?
No, no, no.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't.
You're off by about 8 years,
Okay,
buddy.
I just want to make sure because I know somebody. I can't remember who beat Brock for
But,
that title.
but if you're curious,
Mm-hmm.
Brock had a couple of matches with Shinsuke Nakamura.
Mm-hmm.
He had matches with Tanahashi.
Mm-hmm.
He was only in New Japan for about 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
and he ended up losing the belt to some like pancreas pride guy.
Mm-hmm.
It was really weird how it went down.
Yeah, it wasn't Bass Rude, was it?
No, no,
No, Nate
no,
Marquardt, because I know he's
no, no.
pancreas.
It's I don't know, some Japanese guy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair
That was
enough.
me.
Fair enough.
But
So,
yeah, Brock in New Japan. It's really weird because that was at the same time they had the working relationship with TNA,
mm-hmm.
and you literally had Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar right there in New Japan,
Yep.
in TNA.
Yeah.
And for some reason they just didn't pull the trigger on it. So yeah, basically I don't understand uh, how. And to be fair, I might have my dates a little bit off. Kurt might have came in maybe a couple of months after Brock left New Japan.
Yeah.
But still, I have heard the story before that Brock almost went to TNA.
Yeah, there was a brief, almost like a little bit of a hiccup, almost like a wet fart, you say, of like Brock going there, but money,
Well,
right?
basically, Kurt, the way Kurt tells the story is that Brock wanted what he was making.
Yeah,
TNA didn't want to pay him what Kurt was making,
yeah.
so they didn't make a deal.
Yeah, man.
Brock literally told him, get me what you're making,
Yeah,
and I'm yours."
yeah. Fair enough.
And
Brock's a
then
highest bidder kind of guy.
and then he went and did the UFC thing.
Yeah, he was pretty successful at it. So,
Well, he was
I said pretty successful. I didn't say was.
no, he was successful.
Yeah.
Absolutely, he had like 7 fights, and like 4 of them were like the highest grossing pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm.
Like UFC 100 still one of the highest selling pay-per-views of all time.
Yeah, it was good.
But moving on.
But yeah, I mean, as far as one last note there is, if Okada does come to WWE, that'd be awesome. I don't know if it's going to happen, but
Mhm.
he is really good friends with Shinsuke Nakamura, and he could be his body at that point. He's 36 years old now, so he might want to go to WWE because WWE doesn't really do a lot of live events now,
If
but he'd also be more of a special attraction too, right?
well, that's it, right? If now's the time for Okada,
Yeah,
it's either now or never. Because
yeah.
I don't like he's made so much money in his life, like in
Well,
his. I don't even think I can comprehend the sponsorships
just in
and
Japan alone, yeah,
yeah, like the stuff he gets in Japan.
yeah.
Like he is a megastar in that country.
My final thought on this part before we move on is this would never be going on if Vince was still around. This shows right now the ability of what Triple H is bringing
Hmm.
to the company.
Sure.
Because if that old bastard was still around, it never would have happened. I mean, he'd bring him in and have him as a cartoon character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Oh well.
like,
I
and
mean,
that's not to crap on things, but that's kind of just fact. But
well, have speaking of cartoon characters, did you actually do you know what happened to Okada when he went to TNA?
yes, wasn't he playing Kato as like a Green Hornet kind of spinoff?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I remember that briefly.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see why he stayed in New Japan. Totally see why. But
Actually,
the way the waters are different now, the waters are completely open to
that
everything.
what
So
their mistreatment of Okada led to the working relationship ending.
yeah, yeah.
But
Uh,
anyways, on
maybe,
SmackDown last night,
we will talk about
they
SmackDown.
doubled down on the Santos turn on Ray,
Yes, they
and
did.
I saw a translated version of the promo he cut on Carlito with words that would crucify me if I ever repeated them.
Oh wow, not bad, eh?
Yep, yep.
I haven't
Um,
seen them, but judging by that reaction, it's probably horrible.
to the point that someone like that put up the translated video. Santos Escobar quote tweeted them saying pretty much.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta be careful on TV too, because there are a lot of Latino
Well,
speaking people in the U.S., right?
that's why when you talk in another language and you're on US Airways, doesn't matter.
Well, it takes one person, just so you know, to bitch
Actually,
severely.
I guess something that was interesting that happened on SmackDown was
So yeah,
Charlotte making a phone call to frenemy Becky Lynch.
my enemy, my friend.
Oh, yeah, I suppose because
Uh,
Becky put up a TikTok about this.
yes, I kind of briefly saw like we should took the phone with this, but they
Yeah,
threw it away like it was nothing.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's a war games now with Becky Lynch. They got her in there too.
Hmm.
Uh, Look, for the past couple of years, there's been a lot of heat between Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch over a lot
But
of
they're
things.
professionals.
But yes, right. Both want to be the best. Both want to be they both touched on it both on the smoking skull session. Sorry. Um. So they both talked about it. Now. Have they worked it out? Uh, Time will tell. But you know what? Money's money and business is business, and they both are willing to work for
Sure.
they do business together with it, and they have before in the past too. Even at the height of their anger towards each other, they've done it.
Well, it was Survivor Series
So
2 years ago.
yeah,
It was
I,
Survivor Series 2 years ago,
and
and
it's a
everything.
good match,
Well,
very emotional.
I wouldn't call it a good match, but
Okay, well, let's say emotional match.
you could definitely tell like there were tensions there,
Yeah,
and they haven't even been in this like in the same frame since
yeah.
until last night.
No. It's
But
possible they changed.
I my initial thoughts is Damage Control is finally going to get their comeuppance, and they're going to turn on Bailey.
I think that's the biggest thing going into this.
Yeah.
I think Bailey. If you watch SmackDown and you see how they, especially Asuka, Io, and Kyrie, were looking at Bailey
Mm-hmm.
while the whole beginning happened, and you can tell there's a turn coming. It's almost like they're gonna keep Dakota Kai there.
I think Dakota Kai is the mastermind.
It's possible. It's possible, but
I think she's the one. I think she's the puppet master.
it's quite possible. And it's a good sense too. But yeah, Bailey's probably the odd man out of that group.
I don't even. Well, I mean,
or odd woman out. Sorry, I shouldn't
I
say man.
I understand that sentiment, but it's also Bailey's been a heel now since before the pandemic, or just after the pandemic started.
Yeah, it's kind of time for a change up.
And like she's gradually building momentum back.
Mm-hmm.
And now, you know, you're missing someone on the babyface side because, now Asuka has gone heel.
Asuka's a better heel anyway.
I know. But Asuka's heel. Kyrie coming in is heel. So now you have a big void on the babyface side.
Yeah.
So it makes the most sense.
They're not bringing back the Hugger Shield, I'll tell you that much.
No, it's gonna be a much more serious Bailey, but
yeah,
like, what's the best comparison I can think of?
Like a Trish Stratus when she turned face the second time around.
Maybe Alita.
Oh yeah, Alita probably good now.
She kind of went from that
well, she went from fan favorite to heel,
retired
because the whole thing with Edge,
yeah,
and Hardy, and then she came back and she was a face again.
Well, she retired during that run, and
she
then
retired after that run, yeah.
And then she came back several years later. But like,
yeah,
she's not like, but it's not like she's not like she wasn't like the hot like sex symbol. Like, no, she was just legit wrestler, just there to kick someone's ass.
Yeah,
right.
Well, she needs to be this one.
Well, and it was also different time periods too.
Yeah, completely different time periods. I just, I think we're gonna see the heel. We're gonna see Becky get. Sorry, not Becky. We're gonna see Damage Control turn on.
That's what I think.
Bailey. Completely.
I think it's gonna. I think Bailey's gonna be the one that takes the fall.
Yeah.
The rest of Damage Control is gonna be like, you're the weak link.
Yeah.
Boom. See you, Bailey.
Question is though too, if it's going to happen there at Survivor Series or it's going to happen on SmackDown. That's the question I'm wondering. Because it's going to happen.
Does it really matter? Well, does it really matter?
I'd almost rather have Survivor Series. Well, at least that match end with the turn.
Yeah, the same way that everybody thought last year that the bloodline was turning on Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Right at the end of War Games.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody thought it. Even I thought. Even as they were all holding their arms up, I was waiting for Roman to turn around, just hammer them.
Yeah.
But
it didn't happen until Rumble.
Yeah, it took a couple months, but still. But yeah, I think it's most effectively done post-match instead of waiting. And then they just explain why on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So can we talk Dynamite so I can talk about this street fight?
So let's talk Dynamite. The Adam Page promo.
One of the best things I've ever heard from that man.
He's
gonna beat up Nana and steal his weed.
That man. I'm not the biggest Adam Page fan at all. I don't find him to be that great.
I love Hangman,
but you give the devil his due. The man can cut a promo very, very well, especially when motivated.
He's really good at cutting that really fired up babyface promo.
Yeah, like the one against Moxley was really good. The one
Anytime,
here was really good.
anytime you look at any kind of big feud that he has where, you know, he's kind of fighting from the ground up. He's the underdog. That's the best version of Adam Page
Mhm.
is when he's playing from behind.
Yeah.
Um, which is why a lot of people are kind of down on his title run. I've seen a lot of that on the timeline lately.
Yeah, his
A lot
Tower
of
wasn't
people
that
down.
great.
Well, because he had fantastic matches, but
It wasn't the matches that were the problem.
exactly.
Some some guys in wrestling
Hmm.
are just better at chasers, as chasers.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
They win it eventually, and then they lose it fairly quickly, and then they're better off the chase again.
yeah.
It's just some guys just like that. There's nothing to do against the wrestler.
I thought Roman Reigns was that guy for years.
Yeah.
I thought
Well,
Roman I thought Roman was that guy up until 2020.
well, we could do a whole episode on Roman Reigns' history in the WWE,
Hey,
and we can do that.
today is the 11-year anniversary of the Shield's debut.
Hmm, I miss the Shield. That was so much fun.
But you know what?
Still love the music.
Shield's still on top, man.
They are. You look at
They
where
were the
everyone
top
is.
top 3 in the PWI 500 this year.
Yeah, they are literally the best out of
And
everybody.
honestly, Roman Reigns is probably the best homegrown product that the WWE's ever turned out.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
Like
It's hard to debate it.
I'm talking from the ground up,
Yeah, it's really hard to debate that. It
you know.
really is.
Um anyways,
The
we're not
Page one was really good.
yeah.
Street fight, the Dragon Street fight.
Yes.
Now that was an interesting one.
And apparently
Very interesting, a lot of fun.
it was a
Uh,
six-figure deal for AEW.
really.
Yeah, Sega backed up the Brinks truck for this one, man.
Oh, nice.
So for those that may have been confused, yes, it was an advertisement
Mhm.
essentially built into a wrestling match for Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name,
Yep.
now available on console and PC. It is my favorite game franchise, which is why I was excited that this was happening.
Mhm.
But credit to Kenny Omega, who has the relationship with Ryoga Gotoku Studio, who makes these games. Um, and to see some of the promo material leading up and the references from the game used in it was so fun. Having Konosuke Takeshita come out dressed as Goro Majima with the bat and everything, the eye patch, the snakeskin coat. I just, I was smiling ear to ear. And, people were kind of, I've seen on the people that don't really get the game, seen the Massive Man. You see the Massive Man promo for Paul White.
Yeah.
So that's a reference to one of the boss fights in like one of the early games, where literally the title at the beginning of the boss fight is Massive Man. And that's where that came from.
That's funny.
And people were so confused by it, but it was so much fun. The only part I kind of like went, about is Kota Ibushi trying to ride a bike and hit people with a lead pipe at the same time.
He's just trying to make it fun
But
for
it, but it,
everybody.
but it paid off in the end with a vicious clothesline by Brian Cage. And has anyone checked on Paul White to see if he's moved from the top of that car?
Uh, I don't know if Paul White's moving at all from that car. Nobody's gonna try to move
But
him.
I mean, I don't care how many times I've seen it because I literally remember when the Giant, or Paul White, I remember when he debuted in WCW.
Yeah,
Okay.
remember that.
And
Beat
uh,
Hogan that night too for a title, if I'm correct. That
oh,
night?
one of the most overbooked finishes and
Wow.
nonsensical stories that, but that was
It's
WCW.
WCW. You can't really crap on too much anymore.
But it never ceases to amaze me watching dudes, even somebody as big as Hobbs.
Mhm.
Uh, it never ceases to amaze me watching people pick that man up and throw him around.
Mhm.
Good.
Well, yeah.
All right. But uh, I mean, so I guess we'll move on to MJF and Jay
Yeah, let's
White.
move on to that because that's coming up uh, this weekend at Full Gear.
Well, we say this weekend, but we're recording this as Full Gear's going on.
Yeah, there is a lot of stuff going on. Guys, we would be doing a review right now, but unfortunately, it is in the middle of Full Gear right now, and it's still being filmed late night. Once
Okay.
again, work schedules.
So, and we were gonna kind of live react to some of the results,
Yep.
but we figured we'll save it for our next episode.
Yeah.
Um, sorry, I was just kind of checking the feed to see what happened. Um, but we'll talk all about Full Gear um in our next episode. We can even talk about it during our live stream if we don't get a chance to record this week.
Mhm.
Because we'll have about 3.5 hours to talk on Saturday.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be a lot of talking to be done.
So, so we'll definitely catch you guys up on Full Gear.
Oh
Um,
yeah, for sure.
give our thoughts and opinions. It gives us time to kind of um,
Get the breather.
catch whatever highlights there is. Kind of see what the news discussion is out of it.
Yeah.
Um, so, anything else you? So yeah,
Well,
MJF came out, cut a promo,
well,
and he ends up being left laying
mhm.
by Bullet Club Gold again.
Yeah.
And I really like how poetic it is because if you listen to MJF's promo, he's talking about how he keeps trying to run from his past and stop letting it dictate his present and his
Yeah.
future. And here he is getting beat down, and because he's done so many people wrong in that company,
Yeah.
like on screen, of course,
Mhm.
like nobody was there to save him,
Yeah.
and he just got fed to the wolves, man.
Yeah.
And so, so I found that piece of story, every bits and pieces of this MJF story they're telling on TV, no matter how many different angles and characters you bring into it, like
Mhm.
the layers that this man has is fantastic.
He's, you know, he's a generational talent, as nice to say. He is very good.
Oh,
He understands the
one of
business.
the one of the best in the world.
He really is. He understands the business. He is almost like, or at least maybe trying to be, eventually maybe succeed, living the gimmick like Ric Flair, or some people said, or Undertaker, who used to live the gimmick on a regular basis for
Oh, he
years.
he does live the gimmick.
Yeah, like Ric Flair, as has gonna say, it was really me. He basically lived the gimmick. Same thing as MJF does.
Yeah,
Lives the gimmick. You know what I mean? Like he's generally that much. If you go on Twitter and you have him on Twitter, he likes to shit on a lot of things. It's kind of funny.
right. But actually, if you've paid attention to his Twitter the last couple of months
He's been
since
around.
he made the full turn
Yeah,
to a babyface, he's uh he's been a lot more positive,
yeah. But
right?
yeah. At the end of the day, everybody's a person too. You know what I
So
mean? Character or not.
yeah, so let's wrap things up with do you have what's announced for Survivor Series so far?
So for Survivor Series, the card currently we have the two War Games matches. So Survivor Series War Games, we have on the women's side Damage Control with Charlotte Flair against Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, and Shotzi Blackheart. or a
Isn't
Shotzi.
it
If that's
just
the one.
Shotzi?
There's a Shotzi now, but I just prefer a Shotzi Blackheart.
They took her last name.
Yeah, they did take her last name, but I'm sure she'll probably get it back. Everybody else seems to be getting her stuff back. Uh, we also have the men's war game matches of Cody Rhodes versus Cody Rhodes with Seth Rollins with Jey Uso and Sami Zayn and a member to be named later, which we think will be Orton versus the Judgment Day and the now added Drew McIntyre. And then we also have Rhea Ripley versus Zoe Stark, which I know you have no interest in.
No.
Most people probably do not, so it'll probably be a throwaway. Mommy dominates the hell out of Zoe Stark, but it'll probably, it might be a good match.
I think it'll be competitive, but
it might be a good match. But I think Rhea's going to win that, no problem.
I think their focus is taking the title off Ripley at WrestleMania.
We have Carlito versus Santos Escobar, which was announced after SmackDown yesterday or this morning, and Gunther with the IC title versus The Miz. That is the current card.
So, just let me throw a couple thoughts. Let me throw a couple thoughts out here really quickly. So Gunther and Miz, they're trying to sell this whole, let's not forget Miz is an 8-time Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, he would tie Jericho then because Jericho's on 9.
He'll tie. Jericho is 9.
Yeah, so he'd tie Jericho.
So if he manages to beat Gunther,
which I don't think is going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I think it's going to be a slaughter.
I think Miz will have a couple hope spots. He'll have a couple hope spots, but I mean, I can't think of somebody more consistent in WWE right now than Gunther.
No, eventually come to the point too where it's gonna be like the question of Roman Reigns, who's gonna take the title off, and you gotta wonder who's gonna do that.
I think it's Gunther.
No, I mean Gunther. Let me rephrase that. Who takes the title off of Gunther like Roman Reigns? Who takes the title off Roman Reigns, kind of thing.
Right.
That's kind of what I was trying to get.
Okay, so who takes the title off Gunther?
Yeah. So that's gonna be the question that's being posed.
You could bring up. I'll give you an answer right now. You could bring up Carmelo Hayes.
I thought you could go that way.
You could bring up Braun Breaker. You could bring up Ilya Dragunov.
I think Dragunov stays at the top for a while in the next team.
I think he does too, but you could bring those guys up. If you look at the current roster, Ricochet is a name that comes to mind.
Chad Gable.
Maybe
who's all go that road again.
Yeah.
There's a lot for you guys there. I mean, Gotcha, a few weeks ago back, he hit a match with Ciampa, Ciampa, and I thought that might be it there.
I don't think he's faced Gunther
on Raw
on this run. But Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh, Shinsuke, yeah. No, he hasn't.
Not that I can recall. I don't think he's had a match for the Intercontinental title since Gunther's had it.
No, I think they're really trying to push Shinsuke more towards maybe a world title.
If I'm wrong, feel free somebody to correct me.
Yeah.
But in my
no, he might have actually.
Yeah, he might have.
Yeah, it might have been like 8 months ago.
But yeah, you can go back to that.
Yeah.
Especially since Shinsuke's got a whole new character, vicious side now.
Yeah.
I think it would clash well with King of Strong Style versus, the Ring General.
Yeah.
I think that's money, dude.
That's probably a good match. That's almost sounds Royal Rumble.
So they only have 5 matches announced,
currently right now, and I think that's all they're going to need because both War Games matches will probably take an hour
each, yeah, and then you have about another hour,
if not 40 minutes for sure. If not 40 minutes,
I think there'll be a minimum 40 minutes.
Yeah, so
because if you look at see, WWE's YouTube channel likes to put up full matches.
Yeah.
I think even last year's War Game match went like 45.
Yeah. I think it's gonna. Yeah, I think the women's match opens it though.
Usually does.
Yeah, it probably will open it.
Yeah, it usually does. They usually open with one and close with one.
Yeah,
and it's whatever has the hotter story.
Well, the hotter story is definitely the men's one.
100%.
There's no way else not.
Yeah. So. And So yeah, I mean they could throw a couple of like throwaways there.
They might. I mean,
You know,
we're gonna find out on Raw, find out on SmackDown with the go home shows. That's where they're gonna really finalize the card. So the final card will probably be finalized Monday or Friday,
right.
and basically see what happens there. Actually, the Carlito and Escobar one, yeah, I think it's probably gonna be Escobar that wins that. I just don't think it's gonna be anybody else other than Escobar winning that.
You want to solidify the turn. You
Yeah,
don't want to cut the legs out from under him right
exactly.
away.
Yeah, exactly. Escobar's gonna win that, and Escobar as a heel is a much better option.
Yeah.
I didn't like him as a face this run. I liked him like NXT
I thought it was weird when
Escobar.
they turned him to begin with.
Yeah, it was weird. Like the whole yeah, it was strange.
I understand a kind of a respect angle with Rey Mysterio. I can appreciate that.
Yeah, but you can
I
still
love
have him
Rey
as a heel doing that too.
I love Rey Mysterio. I remember watching Rey Mysterio in 1996.
He's
I love
the
Rey. I love Rey Mysterio.
he's the guy who will always be a face no matter what.
You could never turn Rey Mysterio heel, man.
It wouldn't work. I mean, it wouldn't work. Like no offense for people too, but when they tried to turn Austin back heel after his huge base run,
Yeah.
it didn't really
It
work.
flopped
Yeah,
because people weren't ready for it.
no, and
Especially since when you consider he was out for a year
mhm,
he was out for most of 2000.
yeah,
The rest of from late 99 until the fall of 2000,
yeah,
he was out. So
yeah,
much like what Edge had said
yeah,
about going heel with Judgment Day,
yeah,
people weren't ready for it.
yeah.
But anyways,
Anyways,
um, so that's gonna do it for this episode.
yeah.
Be sure to check us out on everything except iTunes because we're not there. I'm working on it. I'm gonna try. I got a couple fixes I'm gonna try, and
iTunes,
yeah, well, you're not official till you're on iTunes, bro. You didn't know?
Spotify is pretty good.
Yeah, we're over there,
Yeah,
and uh, so yeah, I mean, I hope people tune in for the live stream on
yep,
Saturday.
yeah,
We may be able to get a show in before then. If
yeah,
not, then we'll just we'll just talk about the week that was
yeah,
um, while we're watching Survivor Series,
yeah.
and it's gonna be fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be the first time I've ever done something like this.
Yeah. It was the first
Um,
time for me too.
yeah, so I mean,
We're trying not to
um,
swear as much as possibly, but it's a good possibility you might hear some cursive language on the thing. Cover your
we'll
children's ears.
we'll see how many.
I'm not guaranteeing any
You
appropriate
really think
language.
you really think kids are listening to our two dumbasses?
Nobody knows.
I mean, to be fair, my kids watch or listen to us,
See, there we go.
but
I wish we do our best not to say any foul language. God knows I don't need FCC coming after me for anything bad.
FCC's in America, you
Who cares?
quit.
Who cares?
But
Nobody
anyway,
cares. Nobody cares.
then why are we talking about it?
Oh, it's funny. Anyway,
Yeah. So you can follow the show DA Sports Pod. I guess we'll have to change the handle, eh?
well, we'll probably might go DA Wrestling or just Wrestling Weekly, folks. Who knows? I don't know. We'll come up with something. We're gonna
We're
put our
still
heads
working on
together.
we're still working on the kinks about socials and stuff like that. But in the meantime, you
Yeah.
can follow me uh, at DLions1991 on X. You
Mhm.
can follow him at 8%1982 on Instagram, Andrew at DA Sports on TikTok. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode. We will talk to you down the road.
Go enjoy AEW wrestling if you're not watching it now. Go enjoy Raw wrestling. Have fun. Bye.